Welcome to Raheel Stories Hub, where every heartbeat hides a secret and every silence holds a story. Tonight we bring you another dark American tale, one that begins with love, trust and light, but ends in the deepest corners of fear and betrayal. There was once a man named Ethan Reed, a 35-year-old American architect who lived in a peaceful neighborhood in Portland. He had everything a man could dream of: a loving wife, a good job, and a reputation built on honesty. Every morning he'd take a slow sip of black coffee while watching the city skyline from his balcony, smiling at how far he'd come. But happiness is fragile, and Ethan's life was about to shatter in a way he could never imagine. It began one rainy Thursday evening when he got a call from an unknown number. The voice on the other side was rough, almost whispering. "Ethan Reed," it said. "You've been chosen." Before Ethan could ask anything, the line went dead. He assumed it was a prank, ignored it, and went back to dinner with his wife, Clara. But deep inside, something about that voice unsettled him. 2 days later, he found a small black envelope on his doorstep. Inside was a single photo of him, standing near a forest road he hadn't visited in years. A note below read, "Come alone midnight or lose everything." Ethan froze. He tried to laugh it off, but his hands trembled. He didn't tell Clara. She was already worried about his long work hours. Instead, he went alone. That night, the forest was silent, except for the faint whisper of wind. He parked his car and walked into the woods, flashlight trembling. The deeper he went, the heavier his chest felt. And then he saw it, a figure standing under a tree, wearing a long coat, face hidden in shadow. "Who are you?" Ethan asked, voice cracking. The figure threw something toward him. It landed at his feet, another photo. This time it showed Clara, his wife, sitting in their kitchen, unaware someone was watching her through the window. "You do as I say," the voice rasped, "or she dies." Ethan's heart pounded. "What do you want?" The figure stepped closer. "You're going to help me build something. A safe house. No questions." Over the next weeks, Ethan followed every instruction. He met the stranger several times, always in dark, empty places. He designed plans, made blueprints, and delivered materials, all in secret. He thought he was protecting Clara, but one night, police sirens screamed outside his house. Within hours, Ethan was arrested. The safe house he helped build turned out to be the hideout of a wanted killer. Damian Cole, a name the entire state feared. Inside, police found a murdered body and Ethan's fingerprints all over the place. In the courtroom, Ethan stood pale and broken. His orange prison uniform hung loose on his trembling frame. Cameras flashed. Journalists whispered. His lawyer tried to defend him. But the evidence was overwhelming. Photos, payments, texts traced to his phone. When asked to speak, Ethan said, "I didn't kill anyone. I was blackmailed. My wife was threatened." The judge looked coldly. "Mr. Reed, there's no proof of that." Even Clara, sitting behind the glass, couldn't look at him. Tears rolled down her cheeks, as if she didn't know who he was anymore. Days turned into weeks. The courtroom felt like a tomb, echoing with the words, "guilty." That night, alone in his cell, Ethan replayed everything in his mind. The call, the forest, the photo. It all felt like a trap, a carefully written script. And he was the actor doomed to play his part. But horror had one more twist waiting. 2 days before his execution, a new inmate arrived, tall, quiet, with piercing blue eyes. When Ethan saw him, his blood froze. It was Damian, the same man who had blackmailed him. Damian smirked through the prison bars. "Guess you did your job well. The safe house worked, until I didn't need it anymore." Ethan's voice trembled. "You ruined my life." "Correction," Damian said, stepping closer. "I used your life. You were convenient." That night, guards found Damian dead in his cell. Slit throat, no weapon found. They accused Ethan again. The next morning, newspapers screamed, "Architect turns killer, justice served." Ethan tried to tell the judge it wasn't him. He said the lights went out. Someone else entered the cell. But no one listened. He was sentenced to death. The day of execution came. Ethan was silent, wearing the same orange uniform. As the guards led him to the chamber, he whispered to himself, "I was innocent." His eyes filled with tears as he covered his face with both hands. In his final seconds, he saw flashes. Clara's smile, the city skyline, the life that could have been. When the lever was pulled, the room filled with silence. The world outside kept moving, unaware of how many truths die quietly in cold rooms like this. A week later, investigators reopened the case after discovering a camera hidden in Damien's old hideout. The footage showed Damien confessing to framing Ethan, but it was too late. Ethan Reed was already gone, and yet, at night in that same courtroom, guards swear they sometimes hear footsteps and a whisper that says, "I was innocent." E outro. Raheel Stories Hub. You've just heard the haunting story of Ethan Reed, a man destroyed by lies, trapped by fate and silenced by justice. If this story left you speechless, subscribe to Raheel Stories Hub, where truth hides in shadows, and every story ends with a twist you'll never forget. Turn on the bell icon. Stay with us for more dark tales from the heart of horror and crime, because here at Raheel Stories Hub, stories don't just end, they haunt.